It has been almost a month since Russia's armed force started to invade Ukraine, and the fight only intensified, with more casualties from both sides. And Ukraine embassy around the world, including Thailand, has urged support from the government and people to stand with Ukraine. And for Voice of the Nation today, we have special interview from Pavlo Orel, Chargé d'Affaires of Ukraine Embassy, to talk to us about the situation in Ukraine right now.
Russia has been long preparing the full-scale invasion. Before the invasion, it concentrated about 150,000 its troops along Ukraine's borders and conducted militarization in the illegally occupied Crimea. Today, Russian troops widely use operational and tactical aircraft, high-precision long-range weapons, and multiple rocket launcher systems against the Ukrainians. Moreover, Russia is conducting covert mobilization and intends to deploy Syrian combatants in Ukraine. Every day, a Ukrainian is thankful to God that he or she is alive. This is the reality. This is a devastating war in the center of Europe in the 21st century. It showed to the world the real evil face of the so-called Russian world. For years, Russia had rejected its military presence in Donbass. On the 24th of February, the aggressor state openly invaded Ukraine, claiming so-called denazification as a legitimate reason for aggression. The Russian Federation is shelling civilian targets, residential areas, schools, hospitals, maternity hospitals, and humanitarian corridors. Russia is thus committing crimes against humanity and violating the Geneva Conventions of the Protection of War Victims. The number of peaceful Ukrainian citizens who died at the hands of Russian occupiers is higher than the number of our military members of all defense sectors who were killed in battle. According to the estimates, damage to Ukraine's economy has already reached 120 billion United States dollars. United Nations Humanitarian has launched emergency appeals for a combined 1.7 billion US dollars to urgently deliver humanitarian support to people in Ukraine and refugees in neighboring countries. I should mention also the Ukrainian tourists who, due to Russian aggression against my country, could not leave Thailand and had to stay here until the end of the war. We are grateful to the Thai authorities for the attention to the needs of the Ukrainians who were forced to stay in the country due to the Russian aggression, and we expect respective Thailand's support to be intensified. Despite Russia's propaganda, there is no discrimination based on the race or nationality, including when it comes to the crossing of the state border by foreigners. Please ask Thai people who were evacuated from Ukraine what they were feeling under Russian shelling. Bring them to the Russian embassy and ask them whether they were discriminated in Ukraine before the Russian aggression. War launched by Russia against Ukraine is not only the gravest military threat to the international community, but a severe challenge to the global food security. Ukraine's exports comprise 10% of all wheat, 16% of all corn, and 55% of all sunflower oil in the world, 55%. Due to the war, food exports from Ukraine are currently suspended. Unprecedented sanctions are of particular importance. They isolate Russia's economy and severely undermine economic and financial capacities to continue the aggression. Atrocities which continue to be committed by Russia in Ukraine confirm that the sanctions must be further strengthened and expanded. Russian currency has drastically depreciated, almost twice as now. Russian companies go bankrupt. Doing business with Russia becomes increasingly toxic, and many international corporations have already left Russia. This process continues. Russia's sovereign ratings are downgraded, leading to default on public debt. Russia's economy will face deep recession, a decline of 7 to 9% in this year is expected according to different forecasts. We call upon countries of the world to further strengthen sanctions against the aggressor, in particular disconnecting all Russian banks from SWIFT, imposing trade embargo on Russia, including in oil and gas sector, as well as sales of gold and minerals, closing of ports for Russian vessels, encouraging private businesses to divest from Russian assets and currency. We call on all foreign governments to demand from the Russian president that he immediately stops his war in Ukraine. The address must be subjective and directed to the aggressor state, Russia. Ending the war launched by Russia remains Ukraine's key priority. We urgently need ceasefire and humanitarian corridors for civilians to prevent further casualties. The war launched by Russian leadership must be stopped. It was not Ukraine who started the war, but we must stop it. Ukrainian people are mobilized against the aggressor. We are really united. Russia did not expect it. They intended to end the war within 3 days. Their plans failed due to fierce resistance of Ukrainian population. We are united against the aggressor and we will win. We will not accept any ultimatums, nor capitulation. The condition is the full respect, the condition of the Ukrainian sides is immediate ceasefire, full respect to territorial integrity and sovereignty of my country, and withdrawal of Russian occupying troops. Thus, peace can be achieved and we can continue other talks. The sanctions are very efficient measures to undermine Russian economy in order to force Russia stop its war. They have been already effective and our partners all around the world will strengthen those sanctions in case Russia continues its aggression. I don't know, but we also count on Russian people to express their views, whether they really want this war, whether they want this war to be transformed into something more than war only against Ukraine. I think that Russian people, including its leadership, must think about it. In my statement, I mentioned about attack on a maternity hospital in Mariupol. Russian propaganda claimed it was a fake news. I have here pictures of rescuing of a Ukrainian woman after the attack, which was claimed by Russian propaganda as a fake news, like she was not pregnant. She was rescued, fortunately, and she gave birth to her daughter. They are both safe and alive. This is only one example of Russia's manipulating public opinion and creating so-called fake news. There are plenty of them. They really just missiled just a military base in the Lviv region near the Polish border. But this was official military base, and there were no mercenaries there. There were international instructors from many countries, including from some countries of the NATO states, which were officially there. So we had 35 people who died and hundreds of those who were wounded. If we don't stop, we will stop Russia in Ukraine, but if they don't stop their war, it can be that Russia will continue. That's why it's important to continue imposing international sanctions, cut ties with Russian businesses all around the world, and in order to force them to stop and to have peace not only in Ukraine, but not to spread this war to other countries. I don't know, but what if the information is true? It means that Russian troops have very serious problems in Ukraine, not in terms of supplies and logistics, but also in terms of their losses, their military losses, both in machinery and personnel. I would like in this regard to commend the spirit of Ukrainians who fight the aggressor, which was they did not expect it. The Russian leaders did not expect it at all. On the 2nd of March, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution, aggression against Ukraine, and 140 nations plus the Kingdom of Thailand have supported this resolution. Only 5 countries voted against. I don't think there is a broad coalition of Russian allies in the world. There is no coalition at all. Majority of people in the world, they do not, including in Thailand, they do not support Russia. It was just denied by the just officials of the United Nations, officially denied. It's not true. It's the means of their propaganda, which is absolutely false. According to our estimates, there are about 2,000 of Ukrainians who live in Tehran. We have also about 1,000 of Ukrainian tourists who couldn't leave Thailand and stay in different regions of your country, Phuket, Pattaya, Krabi, and other places and provinces. So this is the situation.
Thai people do hope that this war could end as soon as possible for the sake of innocent people whose lives were torn apart by the brutality of this war. And we do hope all the best and peace for Ukraine.